Yeah,
Alright, cool. Yeah.
it's down on the left. I am 22nd. I bet there's only 20 people
Yo!
on. Oh my god, I'm bottom. I'm going to report everyone in the league for offensive name, then I'll win.
What is happening, guys? Welcome to the first roundup of the Premier League results. Cameron, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I've been keeping well. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Although I think I've been doing slightly better than you have in the past week, right?
Yeah. I know we've just started this channel, but we need to address it already.
Inconsistency.
I've been sidelined by an injury here. I'm basically Diego Carlos. I was Wilfred Zaha out on the left. Took it past someone, and he's two-footed me, and I've maybe broken my wrist. I was in hospital last week, and that's why we didn't do week one catch-ups.
Christ. But since you've been sidelined and you've had some time off work, were you able to catch some more of the football than you maybe normally would have?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of free time. I've been catching up on a lot of like different leagues, a lot of lower leagues. I've not missed a Premier League game that's been on Sky. Don't have BT Sports, but I've got Sky. So I've been watching Villa Everton. I watched the Liverpool game last night. Tottenham, Chelsea, and Nottingham Forest, West Ham. So I've been bored senseless.
Plenty of results to talk about for these past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Let's just briefly look at, if you want, some of those game week one results that we missed, some of the big ones. So let's just go back and look at some of the game week one results that we didn't get a chance to talk about last week, starting with the big opener, Arsenal defeating Crystal Palace at their own ground. What do you think of that? Crystal Palace's ground, that is.
Yeah, I mean, that was a bogey team for you last year, wasn't it? You picked
We
up.
got fucking humped off them both games, despite we still managed the draw, but God, it was fucking tedious.
Yeah, I mean, 1 point out of possible 6 against Crystal Palace isn't the best form for a team looking to push into the top 4, but you looked solid. I don't think there's any other way to put it. You were fantastic. I mean, you're the Arsenal fan, so how about you take this one?
Well, I think that a lot has been made. I saw a lot of things on social media about how Arsenal were really dominant and beat Palace with ease. I don't really think that's necessarily true. I think there's a bit too much excitement around the result. Yes, 2-0 is a very great, convincing scoreline on the face of it, but Palace had some chances they really should have buried. I think back to Edouard had a chance. I think Eze had a chance as well. And
yeah,
it maybe
Eze was the... Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
Eze was the glaring one, wasn't it? That was brought
yeah.
up.
I think that Arsenal should have scored more as well, though. So you probably were looking more at like maybe a 3-2, a 2-1. It would have been a fair scoreline, but I still think Arsenal deserved to win the game based on the overall play. What do you make of Vieira's comments last night after their draw with Liverpool, saying that he's very happy with the performance that Palace have put in against two title contenders for this season? What did you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it could have got much harder. If you look at Palace's fixtures, they've got the hardest ones out the league. Like, you've played Arsenal opening weekend and then away to Liverpool. So, I thought they'd done really well. Like I say, I watched the game last night. I thought they were fantastic. Actually, they obviously clearly knew that Trent isn't great at defending, and a lot of their success did come from playing balls down the left and behind. That's how their goal actually came. So Zaha managed to see the space in behind and just exploited it. Trent's been exposed at the back again.
For that goal that you're talking about, I think it was we've moved to last night's game, but yeah, Nat Phillips was like the stopgap in that defence, and it was him that played Zaha's run on side, and I thought that was it showed a bit of a lack of quality from Phillips in that moment, but it was a great counter attack, you know.
Yeah, you've got to wonder why Klopp doesn't just opt for Joe Gomez though. Surely he's got to be better than Nat Phillips.
No, yeah, you're right, but I think I saw something that he said that Gomez is out or something. It wasn't Gomez and Henderson were struggling this week with injury, I think, so that's why he wasn't in the team.
Okay,
yeah.
I noticed he came off the bench, so I wasn't too sure, but...
But back to that Arsenal Palace game.
Yeah.
I think Jesus, despite scoring, he really showed why there's so much excitement about him as a signing this season, much as I was reluctant to accept it, but I am kind of buying into the hype now. He's had 2 great performances in last week and this week. Yeah, looks interesting. Martinelli as well, he's having that come through season that I was hoping he would have, where he's really making a name for himself, it seems. So hopefully he can continue. Yeah.
Yeah, you do look a bit terrifying.
Oh aye.
Between, he obviously didn't score in the first week, but he did get very close.
You see his run through like 4 players. It was unreal. Back to the favelas in the streets. It's unreal.
And it just took that small nick for the corner. Yeah.
So good. So Arsenal might have had a great start to their season, but one team that maybe had similar expectations that didn't do so well was a Man United helmed by Erik Ten Hag, as I have dubbed him. Did you catch that game?
Yeah, I watched it. They were very poor. They weren't
comprehensively
great at all, were they?
beaten, I thought. Yeah, I knew. I mean, we knew that Brighton, they're a good side, and they were great last season. And I did think that they were going to push forward this season. In fact, I actually played my Brighton centre back on FPL. I played Dunk because I was so certain that Brighton were going to win. They didn't get that clean sheet, but they did win. So
it wasn't even like lucky or anything. That wasn't a corner. It wasn't set pieces. It was like decent moves, decent attacking football. Yeah. And just use of space. Like Luke Shaw was terrible. Diogo Dalot was terrible. Harry Maguire terrible. Like
I'm loving it.
It was convincing as well. And then you look at the Man United goal, and it was just a corner goal line scramble, and Brighton looked like the team pushing for Champions League. So it was not good from them.
So obviously it is still early doors. We saw last season with Arsenal that your earlier results in the season don't necessarily define you, but are you worried slightly about Ten Hag and how long it's going to maybe take to implement his style of play, that sort of high press, sharp passing, starting from the back? How long do you think it's going to take for that to really take? Will Ten Hag have the time?
It's hard. I mean, he is a man that you can build a project around, but you look at the signings he's made, he doesn't start one of them. One isn't physical enough for the league, and then there's just Christian Eriksen who can kind of make it work, but there's only so much you can do when you don't have a real attacking force to go with it. So it is going to take time. There is a lot of signings needed. That's one of the reasons Ranić got the sack. He said, I'm sure that they needed 10. I can definitely see that.
It does feel like they're a couple of seasons behind Arsenal in a similar project. That's what it kind of feels like to me. Yeah,
I think it's been a long time coming. A lot of people didn't want to accept that either. You look at the quotes from like Jose Mourinho from like 4 or 5 years ago, and he was saying like the team definitely isn't good enough. Like this was like his greatest achievement because he knew what was happening behind the scenes.
It's looking like it now as well. It's looking like it was one of his greatest achievements. What did he get? Like a treble, I mean Community Shield included, but a couple of major trophies and second place finish. It's not bad.
So you actually mentioned about Arsenal losing their first 3 last season. We're only 2 games deep. Man U have still to record a point and are sitting bottom of the league. It's a bit different circumstances in Arsenal though, isn't it? Because Arsenal circumstantially lost to Brentford last season on the first game. And then they had Chelsea and Man City, like 2 really hard games. But
true.
Under the United, they've got beaten at Old Trafford by Brighton, and then also lost to Brentford. Like, it's worse, isn't it? Do you not think?
So I was working at a place where I work, not to dox myself, to give away my personal details. A place where I was working, there were some Manchester United fans, let's just say, in this place where I was working, and 4-0 Brentford in like 35 minutes. There was just this feeling of acceptance. People weren't even mad. They were just like, this is now the situation of our club. And it was kind of sad to see, but I was also relishing in it. Yeah. It seems like the whole the fan attitude is kind of just in this, so it's such a state of depression that I don't even know if I'm enjoying it right now. I feel kind of bad for them, but at the same time,
at this point.
Yeah.
It's acceptance at this point, isn't it? A lot of fans calling for the Glaziers out. They're still putting money in. Like, they paid 55 million for Lisandro Martinez. Like, that's a hefty chunk.
It's looking like Arsenal might have maybe done well to go with Zinchenko over him, to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree so. I think he chose United because Arsenal wanted to play him left back, whereas he wanted to play through the centre. So,
And yet you're seeing he might not have those physical traits to really let him succeed in that role, but who knows? Who knows?
nah, definitely.
As we did just see the weekend there, Brentford smashing United 4-0. What did you make of De Gea's performance? Because he came out after the game and basically took full responsibility, but it's more than him. He's not the only problem, but that was a situation where a couple of the goals at least were his fault. Do you see the first one, the Silva outside of the box shot?
Yeah, it was shocking to put it safely. I remember a week ago, or maybe two now, when Dean Henderson came out and kind of slagged United almost because of the position he was put in and how he was just deemed for the bench despite saying he'd get minutes, and he just felt trapped at United, didn't he?
Yeah, he wanted minutes.
He's kind of proven them right in a sense though. Like, I personally thought it was justified. I think if someone's going to come out and say that he was guaranteed minutes and then doesn't get them, he has the right to come out. Like, footballers have any right, I think, to say what's on their mind. Especially if it's someone that's kind of feeling trapped at a club.
Yeah.
So then he got his move to Forest, and he's been better. So I think De Gea was stinking, to put it lightly. Definitely should have saved the first. His choice for the pass to Eriksen, the second goal, was a really bad choice. And there's not so much he could have done about the third or the fourth, but it was kind of buried at that point. So
yeah,
it wasn't great.
That's kind of what I was alluding to when I asked you how long it's going to take for Ten Hag's style to be implemented truly. And when you said they're going to take 10 new signings, I've always been under the assumption that De Gea is one of maybe one or two players that doesn't need to be replaced. But that game maybe showed me that he might not be the right man to really fulfill Ten Hag's wishes where play style is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I never honestly knew Ten Hag's playstyle before he joined the club, so I didn't realise he was a kind of pass out the back manager. But you seen it at Man City when Pep took over, how he wanted to play that same system, and then he dropped England's number one keeper for someone that could do the style of play that he wanted. So, like yourself, I assumed that De Gea is, I mean, before the Brentford game, was deemed a world-class shot stopper. So
he's been their player of the season like 3 out of the past 5 or 4 seasons, you know?
Yeah, I think it's understandable, to be fair. I think he's a great keeper, but he can't play it from the back. It's the same as Hugo Lloris. Kind of like a new breed of keepers coming through, where you need to be good with your feet.
But if we move across to the other side of Manchester and take a look at Man City, have they started firing on all cylinders as you'd thought they might?
Yes and no. I thought they'd maybe take it up a notch. I say take it up a notch. They're currently on a goal difference of 6 in 2 games, so it's not all bad, is it? So
they've not conceded yet, have they?
I watched the West Ham game where Haaland obviously debuted. For everyone in the league, you'll know that I actually have Haaland in my team. I think it's a given at this point.
Team, yeah.
So he got a penalty and then he scored from a KDB assist. So
that second goal, by the way, I was so impressed by that. The way that he moved and switched it onto his left, kind of like hopped over the ball, didn't touch the ball, but managed to put himself in the best possible position to slot it past the keeper. It was just incredible. It was everything I thought you would see. That De Bruyne slot through, and then just the composure and just the right decision making to just nest it into the bottom corner. It was just so good to see.
Yeah, I feel like that'll be a common combination this year. De Bruyne through at Haaland. So it was a foresight to come for the rest of the season, I think. But they never even looked like they were out of second gear against West Ham. West Ham didn't want the game. It looked like I seen after the first half they had less than 45 passes or something, successful passes. So they weren't even playing. And Man City were just cruise control. Yeah.
And then Man City went. Well, they had their first home game at the Etihad and they defeated Bournemouth 4-0. Did you catch that game?
I didn't actually. No, it wasn't. I don't think it was on telly. I seen the game. I seen the highlights. Sorry. and he never. I know Haaland never got on the score sheet this week, but I know Kevin De Bruyne was meant to be impressive. Kind of back to his old self. He was missing a little last year through injury, so it's good to see him. Good to see him back, I think.
Yeah, it was enough to switch up my game plan on fantasy. Let's just say I have brought in De Bruyne for the future weeks because I just think that partnership of him and Haaland is just going to be so strong. And in that game, Bournemouth did not look nearly as impressive as they did the week before, because the week before, I think they kind of surprised everyone with an opening weekend 2-0 victory over Aston Villa in their return to the Premier League. How much do you think that's a sign of things to maybe come with Bournemouth? Or do you think it's just kind of like a celebration to be back in the Premier League, similar to maybe Brentford of last season, looking really good against Arsenal? Do you think that Bournemouth will struggle, or do you think they've shown that they could really challenge to stay in the league for the rest of the season?
I mean, I still think they'll struggle. Anyone that watched the first video sees that we both put Bournemouth bottom of the league, so it was a bit of a surprise to see claiming all 3 points.
Yeah, we kind of wrote them off
Aston Villa.
dismissively, didn't we?
Yeah, there's I kind of assumed there'd be a lack of goals in the team, and we obviously it's not fair to deem it against Man City, so there's only so much you can do against them. But two goals at home against Aston Villa, it's
a good result.
It's a decent result. It's a good one.
In that tiny stadium, the Cauldron.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you said, we both put Bournemouth in last. But we had differing opinions of who would be in 19th. I think we'll just, quickly zip over your early prediction of Brentford being in 19th, because it's looking kind of shaky. Early days, though. Early days. But the team that I put in 19th was Leeds. And you know what? They're also making me look slightly embarrassed. They've got 4 points from their 2 games. And they've looked good for it, to be honest. Their victory over Wolves, I think, was one of control. They've also, in the process, they've put me in the mud with my Wolves prediction, because Wolves just haven't really seemed to hit the ground running, really.
Yeah, I mean, you put Wolves 8th, just outside Europa League.
Look, don't talk about it. No, I stand by it. Now, let me just defend myself, okay, because it hasn't made me look great so far. Early days, of course. But part of my reason for thinking that Leeds would struggle this season so much is that they did lose 2 of their best players of the past few seasons. 2 players that were integral to them staying up last year. And I really struggle to see where they were going to find the creativity, where they were going to find the goals this season. Because they struggled for that last season, even with a player of Rafinha's quality.
Yeah, it looks like since he's gone, I know he had a lot of injury problems last year, but Rodrigo's really came in to the season. I think he's top goal scorer so far. He's now on 3. Yeah,
he grabbed he grabbed both of them against Southampton, didn't he?
Yeah, he's been really impressive. As well as the new signing we spoke about again in the first video, Brendan Aronson. He's been very, very lively since coming back as well.
Yeah, I have to plead ignorance. I wasn't sure about that dude, but he seems like he's been doing pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Jesse Marsh seems to know him quite well, and it looks like it's paying off
so
far.
Shrewd
He has been
recruitment.
playing pretty well.
Yeah. So maybe Leeds will prove me wrong. Maybe they'll secure a safe mid-table finish. But we'll see who's had more of a mare. Me with my Leeds prediction, or you with your Brentford prediction? We'll see come the end of the season, won't we?
I mean, your predictions just drew with Southampton. My predictions just slapped Man United. So
well, maybe Man United will be 19th. Maybe we're both wrong. Who knows?
So one team that's also doing their best to show our predictions up is Fulham. We both predicted them to be 17th, just outside relegation.
Scraping it, yeah.
Yeah, they absolutely flew in the Championship, and a lot of questions were asked of Mitrovic in the league. Can he do it in the Prem? Mm-hmm. He set obviously the new Championship record for goals in a season, but there was still that question mark above him. What did you think against Liverpool?
Mate, they look good, by the way. Fulham look really good. In our defence, we did back Mitrovic to do well this season, but I didn't think he was going to be the player to shake Van Dijk to such a degree that you'd be having nightmares about him after the game, because Mitrovic absolutely ripped Liverpool a new arsehole in that game.
Van Dijk was rattled for sure, wasn't he?
He was. Have you seen the memes going about where it's like Van Dijk against? It's happened 2 weeks in a row. It's like Van Dijk against Fulham, and it's a picture of some random dude that barely looks like him, and he's got like, what's his name, like Van Shite or something on a t-shirt. Like, it's so dumb. But yeah, it's true. He fucking rattled him.
It was really bad, wasn't it? It wasn't even just the 2 goals that he scored. Obviously, his leap at the back post. Trent's been undone again. We mentioned
that's
it
2 weeks
against,
in a row. Trent's maybe looked a bit fragile, isn't he?
Yeah, mentioned it against Palace, and then against they gave the goal up against Mitrovic against Fulham. So there's twice already in 2 games of the season where he's looked a bit poor defensively. There's no doubt about his talent going forward, but
Mitrovic could do that to anyone, though. No, do you not think Mitrovic could beat anyone in the league for a header at the back post, especially with that run up? I think I saw someone else saying that online, maybe on like the kickoff or some crap. But yeah,
I do believe so. I do think that he'll be fancying anyone to beat that. But it was the fact that I remember seeing it somewhere, I can't remember where, but Alexander-Arnold, the cross comes in and he doesn't even look back.
Just stands there.
Yeah, he just kind of stands and ball watches, and it gives the run of Mitrovic, like, he doesn't even, I don't think he even sees it coming. That's the thing. And if you're a defender at the back post, then you're not even going to check over your shoulder. So it's poor, and he probably does it to everyone, but it was poor from Trent for not even looking. So
there's one man he will not do it to. The return of Christ himself, the resurrection, William Saliba. He'll stop him. Have faith. Have faith. Yeah. Although I'm terrified of what he'll do to Lisandro Martinez. Let's just say that.
Yeah, his header was good. He twists Van Dijk in and out. Definite penalty. Yeah.
But clumsy. The sort of challenge that you don't see Van Dijk make, because he's always been so solid in that decision making in the box, you know. But there, he completely committed. And Mitrovic isn't exactly a fast player, but he's clever. You know?
Yeah, for sure. We've also seen a wee clip going around as well. I don't think it led to anything, but there was one where he like completely brushes off Henderson off his shoulder, sends him flying.
Oh, he just leaves him on the ground, didn't he?
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Like, Cruyff turns Van Dijk as well.
He's unreal. He's going to hit like 20 goals this season. He's going to move. Where's he going to go? To the top 6 club and become Ballon d'Or winner.
Go United.
So, for sure, Liverpool did not look good against Fulham last week. And I have to say, they didn't look much better last night against Palace either. We disagreed on where we thought Liverpool would stand. I thought they weren't going to struggle for goals this season. I still don't think they will. But it's not been a great start, especially if they're going to look to challenge City again for that title. But not a good start.
Yeah, they're already 4 points behind. 0 goal difference as well. It does look like they're missing Sadio Mane a little bit. The clinical
you thought they might. You
did
think they might.
The spark, the impromptu creativity that he brings to the team, it's just missing. And I understand that because any team would miss it. But they've definitely looked a bit off the pace this season so far. I know they've got a ton of injuries. Thiago's out, and now they've got that red card to Darwin Núñez, but
I was going to say, Núñez looks like he's got some finish on him, but he also looks like he's got some headbutt on him as well, doesn't he? Did you see, there's a video floating around, alright, of Anderson kind of like winding him up the whole game. Have you seen that?
No, I've not.
So it's like a 2-minute compilation of like Anderson just like shoving him like off the ball and like just nudging into him, and Núñez like 2 or 3 times reacts and tries to like slap him in the face and misses and everything. Núñez was not doing well with that at all, and then he just snapped, shoved his forehead into the guy's chin and got sent off. Rightly so, I think. He's going to need to control that temper if he's going to succeed in this league.
Yeah, there's a difference between winding someone up and then snapping and headbutting someone, isn't there?
Yeah. Imagine when he comes up against like your Gabriel or your Romero even, he's gonna get riled up against them as well.
Yeah. Romero's a big one that we'll get onto later as well. But it's a tough league. Everyone's at the wind up. It's quite a common thing, I think, between defenders recently. So if he's going to react like this, everyone will now know that.
That's going to be spoken about in like pre-match tactic talks and things. Wind him up, get on his case. He can't cope with it. So be interesting to see how many red cards he gets. Can he challenge Xhaka this season for red cards?
I remember Balotelli used to be the same. He used to be really bad for getting letting someone get under his skin, and then it would just set him off the whole game, and he'd just throw a strop, and it would throw him off his performance as well. So if he can't keep ahead, then I can see him start to get rash, start to get reckless, and yeah, those cards could be coming, and they could start missing what might be an easy chance now and again.
Yeah. I mean, we just finished talking about Mitrovic, but he used to struggle with this as well. It looks like he might have kind of cooled that aspect of his game down. He's not prone to getting into those tussles as much. He is still like in play, but out of play, off the ball. He looks like he's a much smarter striker. And Núñez being young, he'll probably develop that. But for now, Klopp said it himself. It's going to need to be something they work on.
Yeah, for sure.
So you did mention earlier that the Liverpool are struggling with quite a few injuries. And there is still time in this window, but do you think the structure of the club, the way that they do their business, do you think we'll see any more signings coming in for Liverpool, or do you think they'll remain quite steadfast with the squad they have? I think I saw Klopp saying that everything we need to solve our injury solution is in the squad. So do you think we'll see any more signings?
I'd like to think so. I think it's needed because, like I said, the list is growing longer every day. There was something I seen online earlier, and it was saying that Klopp came out and said that during the week it would be like every day someone would come up with a different injury, so it's clearly harming him. And I know he did say that everything that he's got in his team is able to work with, but if that was the case, then they wouldn't have tried to sign a few midfielders in the window anyway. So I think he has to dip back into the market at this point, and even if it's just for a quick fix, I don't know, but Thiago's out for a while, because once that midfield's fully fit, it's hard to get into it, to be fair. So maybe like a quick stopgap centre mid.
I do think that in that Fulham game as well, they really struggled with control in that midfield. So we do need to see maybe a tiny bit more recruitment just to really steal up that midfield and give them that control that they need, because that's the one thing City have in abundance. They control every game in the middle of the park, and that's where they win the games as well. So yeah,
there's no doubt that City have one of the best midfields in the league, even compared to Liverpool. Like, Fabinho is good, but he's not that progressive player where he takes the ball forward and plays a deadly pass in behind like De Bruyne is, or even Gundogan. So he is a good midfielder defensively, but it's without Thiago, how much does that midfield really create? So without the spark from Mane, even though Diaz looks like a player, it's how much can they create, really.
Did you see his goal?
It was nice. I'll admit it. It was nice.
Four men just slapped it in.
There's a clear side of Diaz versus Kulusevski on what side I'm on, but
I have to say, mate, I don't think Kulusevski could score a goal like that. I don't think he has it in his locker.
No, we'll see.
So, where was Kulusevski against Chelsea then? What was he doing? Didn't he go invisible? Was he missing? Was he even playing? I didn't see him.
He was napping, mate. Honestly, our attack was poor. I'll admit it, but
especially in that first half.
Yeah, there was a lot of hype around the game. I understand why. It is the new London derby. It seems like the amount of fire and passion in the game, it doesn't get matched when we play Arsenal. It seems like we're much more up for the game when we play Chelsea. You talk about
especially from the players. I don't know if that's the case with the fans, but from the players, it feels like Arsenal-Tottenham is a much cleaner game, but there's always challenges flying left, right and centre in the Chelsea-Spurs games for sure.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows about the Battle of the Bridge a couple of years back, where it was actually the same score in the same stadium. So this was definitely, I think, Battle of the Bridge 2. It was reckless, it was feisty, it was a great game, and in the end, you absolutely robbed a point because you got battered and the ref was on your side, and I'm fuming about it, to be honest. I'm fuming. You sound like one of those Chelsea fans trying to get Martin. Is it Martin Tyler? Is it Martin Tyler? Anthony Tyler.
Anthony Taylor.
Anthony Taylor. That's the one. Try to get him.
They're all the fucking same. They're all frauds. I don't care.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I might be biased, but I think they were correct decisions. I'll maybe say that the hair pull was a bit wrong decision.
If that's Granit Xhaka, that's a red card.
So you think?
Tell me I'm wrong.
So
Tell me I'm fucking wrong.
Granit Xhaka's just got one of those faces.
At the very least, that is a foul and a free kick. The corner is not allowed to be taken. That is how that is usually done. That's standard procedure.
No, so the problem was if it's not a red card, then it's not a foul because it's not violent conduct.
It's absolutely rigged. VAR loves you. VAR absolutely loves you. It licks your rim.
So to start with, it was Koulibaly on his debut, wasn't it?
Oh, some finish, aye.
Yeah, with a very Rudiger-esque finish. They seem to found another one.
Yeah, they fitted a very similar profile of player, it seems.
I always like to believe Chelsea will fall away because their strikers and attackers don't score much, but their defence always seems to pull them out the hole, and I kind of respect it in a sense. I wish my defenders scored that much, but it was a very good finish. No one marking them hundreds of time, and it was a clean volley.
Yeah,
sadly.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think I would rather finish above you, but I think Arsenal have a much bigger chance of finishing above Chelsea. A draw's okay. I'm happy with that result. But I think, honestly, based on the balance of play, Chelsea look like they're probably going to do better than I thought they were going to, especially after the game against Everton, where they looked quite lacklustre. But like you said, they controlled the game against you guys. They just couldn't really get it done in the end.
I don't know. There's that mind block, I think, for us, where it's Stamford Bridge and we can't do much. Whereas, like, we've played poor. Son and Kane and Kulusevski were all, I say Kane, Son and Kane for 95 minutes were just invisible. And they didn't score in week one either. So I think it's good to see the team can still grind out points, can get the momentum, can get like results without the two main players doing well. And it's an improvement, because it would easily been, see, like 2 years ago under Mourinho or towards the back end of Pochettino, would have got beat instantly in that game. It would have been like 3-0, game over. Or even if like we managed to get one back, we were never scoring in the 96th like we did. So it was something like in the 30 years of the Premier League, which is 90 points at Stamford Bridge, we'd only got about 12. Right. I think 12 out of a possible 90 points at Stamford Bridge. So it is a big game for us, and it's probably the one that we'll always look for in a season. So to have it this early on is quite a good thing.
Yeah. You did well to come away with a point, I'll say that.
Yeah.
What did you make of the first goal as well? We've spoken about the second one, but what did you make of the first one? Do you think there was is there a reasonable argument to be made that Richarlison's positioning is blocking the keeper's view, or nah? Nah,
I don't think so. I think the ball's clearly visible. It is offside, and I don't know if it's enough. To go back as well, I didn't think it was a free kick. He clearly wins the ball first, and then even if that, it's still too far away for VAR to look back and to cause it is off, to call the goal off because of it. Sorry, and then fantastic strike. Then I knew he has that in his locker. A lot of people didn't say that. I think I knew he had that in his locker because he scored down for Southampton. I think he's just scared to hit it sometimes because like he does miss easier chances, whereas like he can hit a long shot. So
yeah, okay,
it's a weird one.
We'll see more of that in the future then. Confidence boosting.
Yeah, but he wasn't offside, and it didn't obstruct Mendy, I don't think.
Well, Thomas Tuchel certainly thought so, and he and Conte, I think it's fair to say, had a disagreement on that front.
Thomas Tuchel also thought he could beat up Conte, and we all know which way that would go.
Did you see him flexing his bicep in the post-match press conference?
Yeah. Do you know what as well, right? I don't think I've seen one person come out and say it was poor from either manager. I think ever since it's happened, I've seen just nothing but kind of positive atmosphere around the situation. Yeah, it's a fight. Yeah, it's a fight for top four that we're in. I don't think there's a talk about either team winning the league. So it's a fight where we're both wanting the same thing. So why should it be a friendly thing? It was
Some
good
of
to
you guys
see
are thinking a league title is an option.
Pardon?
Some of you guys are thinking that the league title is on.
Some of the delusional ones, mate.
Oh, you heard it there first. He's against you. Tottenham fans that have any hope, he's against you.
Anyway, Speaking about delusional title hopes, someone
What?
else's team did win 4-2 this weekend.
Oh, aye, right, yeah, yeah. Those fans that think we're going to win the league, you're right. I'm with you, 100%. William Saliba is going to lead us to the title. You see his finish? He's
It was actually a really good own goal.
clinical header.
I remember watching the highlights, and I went on my YouTube, and for some reason, as a Tottenham fan, I am subscribed to AFTV, and some of the titles did make me chuckle. There was something like the best we've ever played since the just as good as the Invincibles was one of the titles that made me chuckle.
It's been, look, mate, in the two games, I think, I mean, Leicester was more convincing than Palace as a performance. There's such a feel good atmosphere at the club that there just hasn't been in so long, to be honest, since Wenger.
I get that.
So I can excuse the fans that are maybe thinking, getting a bit overly excited, because it's just nice to have a team of players that you rate. Even if we do finish fifth, I still don't think I'll necessarily be Arteta out in that situation. I think that he's done enough to kind of change the feeling at the club, where you can be happy with the football you're going to see even if you're not happy with the result. And I think not enough is really said about that, of enjoying watching your team play football, you know?
Yeah, you've got to realise how hard it is to win every week. Man City and Liverpool have kind of made it look like the normal, and for the teams that are just that step lower, it's hard to match that standard. So I can see why. I personally, I can't see why, but I understand why some fans do think it's not fair that they can't get to the same level. So, but user 6 points unbeaten so far. It's not looking good for Leicester.
Only us and City have full 6 points so far. It's been a good start.
Yeah. What do you make of Leicester?
Leicester are doing what I thought Leicester would do, which is to say they've looked lacking. I don't know if I'd say it's like Brendan's fault, but they really desperately need some new blood in that team. They've got 1 point from 6.
Yeah.
They look a team that has no belief, really, to be honest.
The point they got as well was it was thrown away. They lost 2 really in that game. They were 2-0 up until late in the game.
Yeah,
against Nottingham Forest, week 1.
Mm-hmm. I think both of us. I think I said Leicester. I predicted Leicester to finish something like 12th, and I still, to be honest, feel it. I think they look devoid. It's maybe the end of a chapter. Maybe Brendan needs to think about going elsewhere. I don't think Brendan's a bad coach, but I think it's just a bit stale. You know.
I think a lot of the players at the club are unsettled at the minute. I think a lot of them were brought in with the hopes of getting back to that dreamland of top 4, because they were pushing for it for a while.
They were. They looked like the best team with a chance of the best outsider team with a chance of breaking into that mold. They looked like the Arsenal of this season a few seasons ago. They were the young, up and coming, fighting team, and a lot of hope behind them as well. And this was just after they'd won the league as well, so it wasn't too far out of the realm of possibility that it could have happened. So then they brought in prospects to match that ambition, which was fair, and they've just sadly not lived up to it so far. And I think a lot of those players could disappear before they're given a chance to reach those heights with Leicester. What about, do you think any of those players will disappear in this window? We've seen Maddison with a couple of bids coming in that have been rejected from Newcastle. We've seen Fofana coming out today, I think, saying that maybe it's been a leak. I don't think he said it himself, but there are reports that he's unsettled and he feels like he's being priced out of a move to Chelsea. Do you think anyone will leave in this window? Do you think they'll recruit anyone this window?
I think there's a lot of chance anyone could leave Leicester at this point. I think it's still amazing that they've not cashed in on Tielemans yet. I know his contract's out at the end of the year. He's probably perfect for Man United almost.
I'd take him at Arsenal as well.
I'd have taken him at Tottenham before we got Bissouma, but no anymore.
Yeah,
no need. So
your midfield's quite readily stacked, I think.
I could see him at Arsenal, and I think, like I say, it's a good move for like Man United or something. Even Liverpool. Liverpool could do with that creativity just now.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad shout.
With a year left on his contract, he's not going to be too expensive, and he's still relatively young. So, like, it's not out the realms of possibility, but there's a strong chance that 3, 4, 5 of their first team could potentially move on in summer, and they've signed one player so far, and it's a centre back. So it's not looking good.
What's really not looking good is their goalkeeper situation right now. They lost Schmeichel, and that's a huge character to lose.
Yeah.
And they're relying on Ward and what's the name of their other backup? Some other reserve keeper that probably isn't quite up to snuff. But I'd be quite worried for Leicester this season.
I seen that they were looking at their backup goalkeeper, Danny Ward, and Daniel Irvinson.
Yeah. Okay.
I seen it because there was that big talk about do you get them both in fantasy because they're both really cheap.
Oh yeah, that's a strategy that people use. Yeah, I've got Ward on my bench because I know he's a playing keeper. But yeah.
So he didn't look too good though against Arsenal, did he? That cross came in, and he's obviously thought it was easier than what it was and tried to catch it one-handed, and it's just fell straight to the feet of Jesus. Yeah. Gifted you a goal. Found it quite annoying to be fair. Why can't that happen against Tottenham? I don't know. So. But yeah, they don't look good. I think I predicted them to finish quite high in my predictions as well. Top 10, I think.
Maybe like 9th or yeah.
If they play like this, I don't think they're going to make top 12. Newcastle look better. Newcastle could potentially have the better team come the end of the window as well. So it's tough times. I don't know if Brendan leaving is a suggestion. Maybe revamping the team. Maybe revamping the team is just a cause for more priority first, but we'll see.
Maybe. I think the worrying thing for Leicester fans will be the idea that they scored and then immediately after they conceded, they couldn't hold on to the momentum that they'd picked up. And I don't know if that's down to Arsenal being a more resolute unit that's capable of responding and having belief themselves, but it's not great that Leicester crumbled immediately after gaining some momentum themselves. That's something they'll need to look at in the future, which is easy to say, much harder to actually put into practice and to apply. But we'll see how their season goes.
Yeah.
You spoke about Newcastle looking like a better overall unit, and they've picked up 4 points from possible 6 so far in their 2 games. They defeated Forest at home 2-0, and they just drew 0-0 with Brighton. I think that 0-0 draw with Brighton, those are 2 teams that, honestly, I would say Brighton are probably the better footballing unit. They have the better footballing identity of the 2 sides, so I'd say that's quite a good result away from home.
Yeah, I was just looking there to see how they had week 1. Just going back to the 2-0 victory, they were really impressive, I thought. Obviously this is a Nottingham Forest
team. I didn't actually catch that game.
They looked really good. A lot of chances been made. Callum Wilson scored a nice wee dink at the front post. That was really impressive actually. I remember that one. And then there was the Fabian Schär long shot, which is he's came accustomed to knowing what it's like. But going back to this week, and they're 0-0 with Brighton. They're 2 teams that are looking to slowly become maybe best of the rest.
Yeah,
pip West Ham to that. So they're kind of heavy hitters outside the top 6. I'd say Graham Potter is the better manager. And I'd maybe say that Brighton have the better team as well. So a point away to Brighton is nothing to be sniffed at, to be honest. It shows they're actually coming a long way, because I reckon this time last year they would have got beat. So,
as a Tottenham fan, let me ask you this: which game do you think is the scarier, the Newcastle game or the Brighton game?
Away from home.
Arsenal lost to both of them last season, so for me, I'm shitting myself when I see both of them. I want to give them dodgy lasagna the day before, but like for you.
Oh, I think did we beat Brighton at home and then they beat us at White Hart Lane? And then we slapped Newcastle. I think we slapped Newcastle or something like.
I don't remember your
4-0.
result against Newcastle. I remember. Not Gross. Gross is the one that's been making the headlines recently. But who was it that scored? Trossard. He downed both us and then you the week after.
Yeah, it was a 91st minute. Tottenham v Brighton. Let me have a wee look, see if I can find the results.
Yeah, have a look at them.
We beat them 3-1 at home, so it must have been... No, that's FA Cup. No, we beat them 2-0 away from home last year. So that means they beat us 1-0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Arena.
Okay.
And I think we slapped Newcastle at St James's Park. But going into this season, I'd say Newcastle. I think that'll be a tougher game. I think it'll be scarier.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the away game against Newcastle. I think it seems like Arsenal had the best of Palace this season, but it might be harder to overcome Newcastle than it is Palace this season.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe's had enough time to really put his authoritative stamp on their style of play, and it's really attractive and positive for Newcastle going forward. And a lot of people I've seen online are praising Newcastle's business, making sensible signings, not overly radical ones, and slowly building from a solid foundation for a successful future. And I think we're going to see that. It's good times ahead.
Yeah, they look like the new Leicester kind of coming up as well, looking to sign small international talents. You see Sven Botman going there after being linked with moves to like AC Milan and stuff. So
yeah,
for them to actually be able to go out there and get these bigger names, Callum Wilson's back fit. That's huge for them. Kieran Trippier's back in the team as well. He was really good when he first joined last winter. So they could be pushing on a wee bit this season.
I tell you, if they get their hands on a player like James Maddison, it could make all the difference in their season as well.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know how we play with Gameres. Gameres kind of plays the same rough role, unless they're looking to play him out wide. So it'd be interesting to see. I know they've bid 50 million. Leicester are holding out for 60 or 65 or something like that. So
this is the problem. Teams will take the piss now that they know that Newcastle have money, won't they?
Yeah, they'll have the Man U effect, the Man U tax, I like to call it, where just because it's Man United, an extra 20 million gets chucked on.
But they've been quite sturdy in their business. They haven't let themselves get carried away. If people price them out, they'll go and look elsewhere. And they're doing everything right, it seems.
Yeah, they've been nice and shrewd for what is the new heavy hitters of the Premier League. You seen when Man City got the new money, they went out and spent
Robinho
on Robinho. Yeah, that was their first signing. So it's quite refreshing to see, because I kind of assumed they'd be kind of in the same boat when the financial takeover happened, that they'd go out and they'd buy like heavy hitters. But it's nice to see. It's refreshing almost.
For sure. So we've kind of rounded up a lot of the games of the past 2 weeks. Are there any that you can think of that we've missed, really?
I think we've got to speak about Nottingham Forest, West Ham on Sunday.
Yeah, that was quite a big one, wasn't it? Big upset.
Yeah. West Ham still yet to get going, I think. I'm not a huge fan of West Ham, so the longer it takes, the better. So
fair enough. On your point of Dean Henderson versus De Gea, I'll say this: only one of them has 3 points in the league right now. The other has 0.
If you were Ten Hag and you look at that, I think he's only on loan for the season, isn't he?
Okay. Yeah.
He's on loan for the season, out at Nottingham Forest. Do you wait until the season's over and then you keep him if he gets that long, or
no? I think Ten Hag will get someone else. Ten Hag will get someone else. He won't stick with De Gea. If he's still in the job, I think he will be. But you never know with the United fan base. They're in a similar position where Arsenal where there was a sense of we deserve better than this, and so we're going to keep just chopping and changing until we get what we feel we deserve, without really changing the fundamentals of the club. And I know there's a movement to kind of, I know we're back on Man United, but anyway, there's a movement to kind of get the board out, but that's a bloody hard thing to do. So if you can't control that, one thing you can control is voicing your displeasure with the football you're seeing, not giving the manager the time he needs. So we need to see if Ten Hag gets that time. But to answer your question, I think Ten Hag will need to look to get a new keeper, someone that can carry out his philosophy. Because I don't know if Henderson's capable of it. Maybe he'd prove me wrong, but I think we've seen enough of De Gea in his career to know that he's not really that ball-playing goalkeeper as much as he is a shot stopper. Yeah, for sure he's not. But no, it was good to see Dean Henderson playing really well despite I like him, to be honest.
Very
I'm a fan of
limited
him.
minutes. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Just before we go, we forgot about the Villa Everton game, and that was the early kick-off on Saturday.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, I remember you saying you were busy, so I don't think you got round to watching it.
Yeah, I was working during that one actually.
I'll just mention it quickly. Obviously 2-1 Villa. Everton looked poor again. Still clearly missing that attacker they're needing. Anthony Gordon played up front, didn't really get much of a sniffing. On the other hand, Ollie Watkins played for the first time this season. Well, he started this game, sorry.
Okay.
And he got 2 assists as well. So obviously, what I would say a clear starter in that Villa team. I know Gerrard doesn't really like him too much, but when you see the results coming of his effect, it's so hard to disagree. So it's weird. It's a hard one. But I don't know. I feel like we overestimated Villa recently. They're too.
Hey, speak for yourself. I didn't have them that high.
I had them, 8th?
Maybe, yeah. I think I had them like 10th. But the thing is, the way that you've maybe overestimated Villa, I've maybe overestimated Wolves. So, who knows?
I've overestimated Villa, I think. A lot of stats have came out about Steven Gerrard recently and his win percentage. I don't know if you've seen, but he had the same record as Gary Neville when Gary Neville was in charge of Valencia.
What a random stat.
Back. He had the same.
Who the fuck's found that?
I don't know. It was before their game against Everton, they had the same win percentage, the same results as Gary Neville when he was at Villarreal. Valencia. So it's not looking good, and they've recently
it's not looking bad either. It's not too fair to say. They've picked up a win. They've got 3 points. It's looking worse for Lampard, surely.
Yeah, his team's not as good. Like I say, they started with a front 3 of Dwight McNeil, Anthony Gordon, and Damari Gray. That's kind of championship standard, I'd say. So unless they make a big signing, it could be a long season for them. Whereas Villa obviously brought in a lot of big names. They bought Coutinho instead of just loan. They brought in Boubacar Kamara and Diego Carlos as well, and they all started this game. So it's clear to see that his signings are making bigger impacts.
So it'll definitely be interesting to keep an eye on both Gerrard and Lampard's season. It is a long season ahead, so we'll see if Lampard can keep Everton out of falling down to the Championship. But yeah, like I said, it's a long season, so if you're a United fan, don't lose hope. Keep the faith, and maybe you can come through this rough patch. Maybe Harry Maguire can suddenly have a lobotomy. Wait, no, a lobotomy is what you have when your brain is taken out, right? Maybe he actually just needs one. I don't know.
Reverse lobotomy.
Yeah, if you're an Arsenal fan, don't get carried away. If you're a City fan, get out the champagne. And should be a good season ahead. I've enjoyed game week 1, game week 2. Looking forward to watching the rest of the weeks throughout the season.
Yeah, definitely. So just keep an eye out for next week for game week 3. We've got Liverpool v Man United at Old Trafford next week.
Oh God, man! Absolutely horrid. How many are we saying? Make a prediction. Go.
For that game, I got to be low. I got to be like 1-0 Liverpool.
Yeah. Well, let's just say I did actually remove Salah from my team because I think as great as Liverpool are, as many goals as they do consistently put past United, and they have done over the past few years, I feel like it's going to be like you, a bit cagier than that.
I feel
so
like
I've gone for De Bruyne in my fantasy team.
Yeah, I feel like after a 4-0 slapping, Ten Hag will change the defence.
They'll batten down the hatches.
Yeah, he'll bring back in Varane. I reckon.
How is Varane not starting?
I don't know. I think
he's won 4 Champions Leagues.
Martinez must be moved into that midfield, I think. I don't know if he was what was spoke about when he brought to the club, but he used to play midfield for Ajax sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of needed. I feel like McTominay's not good enough there. So we can talk about that next week once they get beat. So
yeah,
that's fine.
For sure.
Who's Arsenal got next week?
Arsenal? No, not Villa. Who is it? Bournemouth. Wonderful. I'll be captaining Jesus. Clip this when we lose to Bournemouth. My confidence. I want to be memed into oblivion. I'm confident. Fuck. Why am I admitting to that? Well, you've got Wolves, all right? Are you confident? Yeah.
Yes and no. Let's not forget.
You've got mixed results against Wolves in the history, haven't you?
Conte's watching this one for Rosie as well. He's off after his red. After his red, he's up in the stands next to Daniel Levy. Luckily, we're at home. I think it would have been a lot worse if we were away. I don't want to go away to another ground to see other fans getting it tight, to then struggle in the game because our manager's not there. So the fact that it's at home and the fans are behind us, it's helpful.
Okay.
Whereas like Chelsea are away to Leeds this weekend, so going to Leeds without a manager could be difficult. So it'll be good to see. So
yeah, fair play.
Keep an eye out. This video will be up. Be a video next week on week 3.
We will achieve consistency. God damn it, we've not done it yet, but we will. Week 1, we've already fucking missed a week.
That's my
Fuck
fault.
you and your hand.
That's my fault. Yeah, we'll know why. We'll know. I'll try not break the other one. And you see your team? Yeah.
Alright, cool.
It's down on the left. I am 22nd. I bet there's only 20.
Yo!
Oh my god, I'm bottom. I'm going to report everyone in the league for offensive name, then I'll win. Mate, I've got a good record of, so far, 2 game weeks, 2 own goals in my starting 11. What a start.
Bro, you're under 100 points.
I brought in Saliba for this week and he fucking heads it past.
Right, before we actually wrap up this video, we do really quickly need to look at the Fantasy League, and let's just say we've just had quite a funny realisation that, Cameron, it is actually you who are in last place in the league.
Yeah,
how do you explain yourself?
I am currently the Man United of Keep the Faith League. I'm propping up everyone here. It's not looking good.
You've got Jadon Sancho and Christian Eriksen. What do you expect?
They've just been slapped. I was going to sell Sancho, but he's already lost money. He's already minus like 0.1. So I'm not making any money back. This is not looking good.
So early days, it's not looking great for yourself. You've got Saliba as well. Scored a lovely own goal. What did you say to me off camera? You said that you've had 2 own goals, 1 own goal in each week so far, and you're starting 11.
Yeah, because Mark Guay would have came in on game week 1 after he scored an own goal against Arsenal, and then Saliba obviously scored an own goal last week versus Leicester. So far, 2 game weeks, 2 own goals in my starting 11.
God, I'm firmly in mid-table. I'm in 13th place. I had a better week than you. Still not an amazing week, but a pretty good week. 64 points, not too bad. What hurt me was Tomiyasu coming on as a sub. I mean, either way, Tomiyasu would have got no clean sheet points because we conceded 2 goals. But Tomiyasu came on with just like 20 minutes left and got a yellow card, so ended up with 0 points. And if you look at my bench, which makes me so sad, I've got all of my bench players returned apart from my reserve keeper.
Yeah, it's rough. That is rough.
That is rough.
I've got to currently figure out how to spice up this team. Oh dear. What's your plan for this week?
I was going to say, who do you think will be your captain for this week coming in then?
So first of all, I'm dropping Sancho, and I'm bringing in Martinelli.
Oh yes,
that's
what a great pick
play.
from myself.
He's
been my shining light.
That'll do. Let me confirm that transfer. That's what I'm going for this week. Captain. Captain will be
Martinelli. Go on.
V Bournemouth. It might be, by the way. Or
mine is Jesus against Bournemouth.
Son's yet to get going. Kane scored obviously in the last minute. I'm gonna go for. I need to make ground up, so it needs to be an out there shout.
Okay.
I'm putting Kane captain against Wolves. Wolves have been shocking so far this season. I say shocking, but not bad.
Underwhelming.
Yeah, underwhelming.
No. I thought about captaining Kane, but you guys don't always convince me against Wolves. So I thought fresh meat in Bournemouth. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. They'll prove me foolish. I've captained Jesus for this week. I was going to bring in Son. My plan was to bring in Son for Salah so that I could upgrade Tomiyasu to Zinchenko.
Okay.
However, as you pointed out, Son has not been stellar so far. and I've already got Kane. So I don't want to double into your attack when your attack isn't necessarily looking fluid.
You say not
I mean, it's not
good.
it's not looking fluid.
We've scored six goals.
Yeah.
What about
Maybe that's foolish of me.
dropping Salah for Kulu, and then you've got
But
a
what
lot
I've
of money to
done-
play with?
What I've done already off camera. All right, I was very proactive. I have removed Salah and brought in De Bruyne for the long term
Okay.
to partner
Fair.
up with Haaland.
How much is De Bruyne?
12. So a whole 1 million was saved
Okay.
by making that transfer.
Okay.
I think
if
Salah's
De
looked a
Bruyne's-
bit quiet, to be honest.
If De
So-
Bruyne's going to stay high form, I might drop Son, who's the same price.
Mm.
And then I've got $1 million to play with, so I might need to upgrade a defender somewhere, because I've got Nathan Patterson, who does look like he's dispossessed. Seamus Coleman at right back for Everton,
Yeah. Mhm.
but the likelihood of them keeping clean sheets at the minute isn't looking good.
Well, I think we both maybe could have predicted that, look, we're in a table, we're not necessarily going to be top, even though we're the ones that are running it and are discussing it week by week. What I did not predict was that my own father would be in first place after week 2.
Shout out to Peter, honestly. He's
Peter
keeping the
Doolan,
faith.
happy Diaz. What's he saying? 80 points this week. Not bad at all. Let's take a look at his team. How's he performed this week? Diaz, Da Silva, Martinelli as his midfield, with Son not picking up the slack as they did. He's captained Haaland, so he could have had a more efficient captaincy choice. Imagine if he'd picked Jesus instead of Haaland.
Honestly.
What would he have been on? He'd been on 75, 19. He would have been on 94 points. Absolutely ridiculous.
Have we looked? See if
And
there's
even on
any,
his bench, he had Koulibaly with his goal.
I'm having a wee look
Wow.
to see if there's any outrageous shouts, but a lot of people have just captained Haaland.
Yeah, it felt like it was going to be
Yeah.
a sure thing, didn't it?
It was one of those games. Oh, someone's captained Jesus.
Who's that someone? Let's take a look at the wider table.
Charlie Burnell. No Kane, no gain.
No Kane,
But he
no gain.
also doesn't have Kane, so
All right, okay. What about... So we've looked at the team in first place. What about the team in second place? What have they done with their team? Eugene
yeah.
Kouan.
He's got
77
Henderson in
points.
goals. Henderson in
He's
net.
also
That's
captain talent.
It's a
What's a
big
bad boy
shout.
defence, you know. Rodrigo on the bench, brutal. 77 points, 15 on his bench from one player. Oof. But
Oh,
still,
that's
he's doing very well
ridiculous.
so far in second place. So as it stands, it would be my dad rigged picking up the £100, and Eugene Kwan picking up 50, Thomas Collier picking up 25. But like we said earlier, it's a very long season. This is just the table as it stands after game week 2, and yeah, we'll have a look back next week and provide regular updates to see who's going to end up winning those cash prizes. So thanks for watching, guys. And I guess we'll see you next week after a round of very juicy fixtures, including that Man United one. Let's see if we'll still be laughing and joking, or if they'll decide to actually turn up and play some football.
This will be the game where they win. Watch it.
Do you wanna say bye, you fuck?
Yeah. Thanks everyone. I'll see you next week.